Oh wow, we have the call of the White Forest for you today. Call 40. You guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. This is a regional breakdown because this is not like anything that we have seen before, because Sky Striker was the most represented deck in this top cut, managed to make, one in top 4 and 2 in top 8. Now, unfortunately, we only have one of these lists to talk about for this video. I don't know if they just wanted to keep this info secret. You're playing Sky Striker, man. It's like, how many illusion gates, how many crowns are we playing? That's about as tacky as you're going to get at the moment until, the new support actually comes out. But, we got some sort of exploration actually happening here. Now, we did have a White Forest toy build coming together. And I actually am not surprised to see his deck going well. It was a matter of time with draw limited to 2 that variants would eventually take hold. And you would actually see this deck kind of coming to the forefront here and actually, dare I say, doing something, which is kind of nice. We also had an Orcust challenger coming in 2nd place as well. I do like that. I like that we are seeing certain decks in the meta kind of elevating themselves here and actually doing very, very well, and also having the Azamina package in this is kind of nice. We also had Fiendsmith Mitsurugi. Are you surprised to see the Fiendsmith package clocking in at literal overtime here to help assist some of these decks? I'm not. We did have a single Draco Tail variant, which was the branded build, which only managed to scrape into top 8, which is kind of hilarious, actually, because this deck is supposed to be bad and scary and good. We also had a Magnet Warrior list, which we don't have the list for this either, which is really disappointing, but I can imagine, it's either the Berserkion pile or it's the build that's choosing to kind of scrape out some of the fat and actually get the deck to kind of work. So that's kind of interesting. Now, this is Riley's first place finish out of this event, and I see straight off the bat we're going with the great Azamina cards. Both of these, it's honestly kind of funny to me how much of a debate that the Azamina cards themselves have been kind of causing within the game, because like the Azamina cards themselves feel incredibly broken, man. Like, you're able to do so much with the damage reflection on this, and being able to, it shuts your opponent off from targeting their cards, right? Your opponent cannot target cards in their field, graveyard, or banishment, or this card in the field card effects. Do you know how straight up inconveniencing it is to not be able to deal with this broken monster? Like, this thing gives me a headache dealing with it already, and the fact that you're just going to be able to damage reflect right on back to the opponent. Yeah, it's a monster. Now, you are playing the toy box cards in here. I don't think you get really much of a choice on this. The toy box stuff has just been a very good, consistent upgrade to this deck, and the fact that, you have access to pull out the bodies here to kind of keep things going is nice. I do think it's also surprising that this build is only playing 1 field spell, man. You're telling me that as much time has passed here, you don't really want to chonk down on this too much. And I guess I kind of agree with that. Field spell does feel incredibly strong for what it does, but, just playing it as a 1-of, I guess, gets the job done. We're also playing 1 different Dimension Ground, 1 of the Trap, 1 of the Spell on the side deck. We have 1 Dark World and no more on the side, and we are also side decking the Diabells. In a perfect world, bringing out the Diabells is just going to steal you some free games. Like, this card forcing the Radiant Typhoon player to set their cards and basically just forego advancing a whole turn is pretty broken. Next up is Mark's Orcust pile, and I can already tell you, there it is. Instead of doing the Dark Magician of Destruction good stuff, we are going with the Diabell Star. Now, the advantages of playing the Diabell Star are pretty warranted, honestly, because this is going to turn into the Azamina Ilia Sylvia here, which is going to be another Omni Negate, and then you can have the Dark Magician Destruction, toggle into the Dragoon. You have stupid little ways to get access to these multitude of engines, and we like that. We like that, extra engine pieces draft into other things. Also, because you're choosing to not play the Dark Magician Girl. You don't really get as much of throwaway space, as I'm going to call it, with this. You know, if you choose to play the Dark Magician Destruction or the Dark Magician Girl, you know, you can maximize a little bit more on these pieces. You can just throw them away out of the hand, and you can go kind of recruit for different pieces along the way. So there are their advantages. I think this package just guarantees you a little bit stronger of an end board on the setup, so you can do your thing. I also see that we are side decking a nice little trap card here, the Sinful Spoils of Morion. Definitely, you have some pile options for sure with this, so I like this, man. Different strokes for different folks. Next up is Alexandre's... What in the world is this? Okay, so this is Fiendsmith Mitsurugi. Okay, so you're relying on this. We have the Manju's the normal summon to kind of help you guys out to get the board kind of established, which is fine. Going with triple pre-prep to bridge into the mirror to get into the Mitsurugi piece. You know, it's funny. Just looking at like how shrunk down the Mitsurugi core has actually become now, I think is really hilarious. And it's just telling of like how the meta has kind of developed. I also do see we are side decking the Invader of Darkness down here. Once again, you need cards that can really just tell your opponent, no, you know, I'm not going to allow you to advance and, you know, do the little stupid things that you want to do with Radiant Typhoon. That's why like we like these cards. I do see we are side decking the counter trap, and we are side decking a little bit more disruptively into the additional Fiendsmith stuff here. So you got the News Reporter, you got the Aerial Leader, and you have the Underworld Goddess here. All are going to be cards that you know you can toggle through your extra deck here. And once again, depending on the matchup, you know, get that counterpoint to kind of establish and do your job, which is kind of nice, honestly. Different advantages are going to be able to work out pretty strongly for you on that front. So this is just a bunch of good cards kind of working together, kind of the meta special at the moment. Next up is Cody's Sky Striker pile. So straight off the bat, good news, Crowns are in the side deck. Okay, I can get behind that. Crown is a very good card for what it's supposed to do for this deck. I mean, your main objective is to make sure that, you know, your monster doesn't get bonked out of existence, so you can kind of, you know, at least ensure that you're going to have something to kind of protect you on the back burner, which is kind of nice. We are main decking MST. I mean, how many cards are we playing? 42? I mean, that's fine. One of the ones that I find a little bit weird here is they're playing Crossout in the main deck. I'm not exactly too sure about that. Also, the lack of Illusion Gate kind of saddens me in this list. I figured with as much as they're kind of packing down here in the side deck, maybe, you know, they would have tried some sort of interaction with that. We're also playing 2 Luminous Gate, which also feels a little bit weird. Luminous Gate, it's such a weird card, man. Like, I do like 2 of it a lot, but there are just a lot of games that you just look at and you go, God, this card feels awful. So I think this looks like a decent list. I would love to have seen how the other Sky Striker variants were coming together. But one small sample size, I think, is a good start. And then we also have Joe's Draco Tail pile. Now, this deck doesn't really get innovative enough to the point that, you know, you'd be like, oh my god, this is crazy. But we're going with 1 Incredible Ecclesias. We're playing pretty safe with that. Going with 2 Ghost Bells, which is fine. Going with the 2 Brain Infusions, which is pretty normal. We have the Sting built into the main deck. We're relying on the Forbidden Droplets to kind of be the board breaker card that you want it to. And we are side decking the Kaiju. I do love the Kaiju in the side deck. Being able to overwrite something that the opponent has with the Kaiju just really feels nasty, man. And, you know, it just kind of gets you there. Being able just to tribute over, bounce it back to the hand, tribute over it again, just kind of gets you into free, you know, wins. And obviously, you know, you have to kind of provide an answer to the problems that does exist called the Lunalight matchup. And I do think having this as a tool does kind of help you along the way with that. So that's actually kind of nice. But outside of that, I think you've got a lot of decent power behind this list. And actually, there's a lot of decent power behind this whole regional. I really do like seeing, you know, the diversity and things that have been happening here with these events. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons! Thank you. Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.